Good morning, guys. My name is Adobe, and I'm a graduate of University of Rochester. And my channel talks mainly about international students and studying in the U.S. So today I decided to talk about the processes on how you can apply to a university in other countries or in the US. And I have written down points here because I don't want to leave any stone unturned. I just want to give out every information the way it is and my experience when I was making my own application. So I am going to go straight into the video, but before I do that, I would ask, please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, and always ask your question. Leave your comments down below. I am going to be getting back to those comments, and I'll be answering any question anybody has based on the experience I got when I was making my own application, and my experience all through my academics at the University of Rochester. Yeah, and I believe that whatever experience I've had is somehow going to help somebody out there who wants to study in the US. So please do like the video, subscribe to my channel, share to friends, share to family. I mean, you don't know whom you might be helping. Sharing these videos, you might inspire someone to study in the US. Like I made a video on the importance and the benefits of studying in the US, because most colleges in the US, most colleges and universities in the US are being recognized globally. So it's always, I bet you're not going to regret it. It might not be easy, like like right now I studied in New York, and I will tell you I'm not regretting it. It's not easy, right? But you wouldn't regret it at the end. At least you would be exposed to some information that you don't even know that is happening right around the globe, because you are culturally networking and you are meeting other people from other different countries. So I'm just going to dive straight into the video, and I have my points here, and I already made a video on how to pass your GRE and TOEFL. And please, if you've not watched that video, I would advise you go watch it, because GRE and TOEFL opens unlimited doors and opportunities for you to apply to so many universities in the US. Unless you're coming from a wealthy family who, where your parents are going to be taking care of your tuition and your dorm fee and your feeding and every other thing, that you don't have to struggle and hustle through school. But then if it doesn't hurt to write that TOEFL and GRE, crack it down and apply to tons of universities, and pray that you get an admission and scholarship. It doesn't hurt, even if your parents are wealthy and you're studying under a scholarship. It's still an advantage, right? It's an advantage. So GRE and TOEFL opens unlimited opportunities for you to apply to various schools, and it also opens doors to financial aid, and that is why I always see it as a first step for you to take when you want to apply to any university in the US. So that is just the first step, and if you've not watched that video, please go watch it, like it, comment on it, and you're not going to regret it. So the second step is then what is your choice of study. Now you want to ask yourself, what do I really want to study in school? You want to make a decision, but you still also want to leave your choice open. You don't just want to be strict and firm with just studying one course. You want to have your choice open, that okay, if I really like the school and I want to apply to this school, but they are not offering the choice I have in mind, what is the other second choice of study that I can go to, right? So that is why I always tell students, do have two courses you want to go for. If you're able to come along with some school and they don't offer that course of study, you would want to have your second choice there, and that is what we call the plan A and the plan B. So you just want to keep having your plan A and plan B in every step that you go through in applying to universities in the US. So yeah, once you made your decision about what you want to study in the US, or what you want to study in whatever country you want to go to, because I studied in the US, and that is why I mainly talk about the US. So I'm not looking down on any other international school in other countries. They are okay, and they are all great institutions, like colleges in the UK and colleges in Sweden, in Switzerland, and in Europe, in any part of Europe. They're all good colleges, but I do talk about colleges in the US because I did study in the US. Okay, so when you are done with making your choice and saying, okay, having your plan A and B, like if the plan A doesn't work, this course of study doesn't work in a particular school, the other course of study is going to work out for me, you go ahead and make your research. Like, making your research is listing the schools you want to apply to. Having those list of schools you want to apply to, you want to have them listed on an Excel sheet. That is how I did mine. I had to create an Excel sheet. I listed all the schools alphabetically the way I want them, and which state I want to be in the US. I didn't really know about the states, but that is why I always tell you that Google is your friend. Like, Google is going to tell you what a particular state looks like, the weather, what the university there looks like, the professor's profile, what the facts and figures about the international students in that school. Because that's another thing, you also want to look at schools where you can meet a lot of international students, because they can help you with whatever information you need. You can always get it from friends, from other international students, and they will help you not to be culturally shocked. So you want to start making your research, have that Excel sheet with you, write down the names of the schools, don't be strict like, oh, it must be New York State. No, it mustn't be New York. You can have New York at heart. You can make other choices. It could be New York, it could be Texas, California, but then also look at the living expenses in that school, especially if you're going with a scholarship, and if you're not coming from a wealthy family. You also want to look at the living expenses in such a state. So that is why I advise people, look online, research about the states and about how students live, and you can also look at that in the school website. So in each state, there might be like tons of universities in a particular state. You want to look at the schools and their website, what their professors looks like, right? What their professors their profile looks like, and what the international students facts and figures looks like. Because this information, they would help you to make a good plan for yourself on why you're making research and why you're applying to the university. So this is part of the research, and writing it down on a Excel sheet helps you, because it helps you to be organized. It helps you to know which state you've looked up for, and it helps you to know like how many universities you want to apply in any particular state, and the course of study you want to apply to in that particular university, and the living expenses in that state, the weather, and all the stuff you need to know about that school and that state. So have a list of states you want to make your application to, and have in that state have a list of the universities you want to apply to. It's very important, and then that helps you to keep your choice open, and to keep you just want to juggle around that. And that is why I keep advising it's good you write TOEFL and GRE, because that will give you a straight way and beautiful opportunities to do apply to this university. But when you like, what, I don't want to write this GRE, I don't want to write this TOEFL, you just go ahead and make your applications. Some schools are not going to take you because they want to see that. They just want to see that too, unless you're going to pay out of pocket. But paying out of pocket actually is not, it's not all the best. Like I said before, unless you're coming from a well-to-do family. Okay, so that is making your research, and after your research, then it is time to apply to these universities. It's time for you to start applying. And how do you apply? This is where the point lies, because you're starting your application now. Now you want to also look through that school website to know if you can make application through the school website, or if there is any particular link that the school have provided for students to make applications to, right? Make sure you have the deadline at hand, and that was why I advise that you have it on Excel sheet, so that you apply to each school based on the deadlines. You don't want to miss any school that you've already put down that you want to apply to. So have these deadlines based on which goes first and which comes last. So apply to them and try to meet up with the school deadline. During the time of application, if you have any questions, most professors in the US, I know about the US, I don't really know about other international schools in other countries, but I would say most professors in the US would answer your question. If you're confused with anything, you can email the school department. The department you are going into, you can email that department. If you're confused with anything, or you need more information about that course of study, or about that department, or about the professors you think that are going to be teaching you, you can email any of them and ask questions, right? Because it's good to know than you don't know. It's good to know what you're doing than you're just doing what you don't know, right? So do ask questions wherever you are confused, and then apply to those schools. When you make your applications, when you are done with your application, and make sure you meet up with the deadline, it is now time to write a very good SOP or PS. SOP is just statement of purpose, while PS is personal statement. Depending on what the school wants, most business schools will ask you for personal statement. Now some schools will also ask you for SOP. They are all the same thing. So while writing a good SOP, research online samples of a good statement of purpose or a good personal statement. Look at what other students are doing on their statement of purpose. Don't just write, oh, let me just write. It's not about the comprehension you write in your high school. No, you want to make you want to make a great point. You want to single yourself out, like, this is why I am unique. You want to list things some experiences you've been able to have in life, like if you've worked before, where you've worked and how that have impacted your life, and the knowledge you've gained from working after school. And you want to list various experiences you've gotten from different things you've been doing when you graduated from high school, or when you graduated from your bachelor's. So you have to list all those things in your statement of purpose. And you want to also let the professor know that this is how this knowledge is going to help me in the department to boost your academic strength and to boost your academic face out there in the public. Because the department looks onto you, like if you win, they'll win. If you win, they are proud of you. That is going to lift the face of that department and make it known, like the school is going to be proud of you. So that is why they are investing in you. So you also want to let the professors who are making this decision whether to give you admission or not, you want to tell them in your statement of purpose or in your personal statement what you're going to be doing while studying in your school, while studying in that school. Like, what are you going to be doing? How are you going to be a great student? How are you going to single out? How are you going to bring that department, the face of that department out there in the public? How are you going to make them proud, because they want to be proud of you, right? So that is what you're going to be listing in your SOP or your personal statement. And that is why it is good to write your SOP when you're when you are calm and when you think your brain can do it. You organize yourself. Do not just copy everything you see online. Make it self-created. Create your SOP the way you are, and show what you are, and show what you are going to be bringing into the department. When you're done with writing the SOP and personal statement, what other thing comes up is your recommendation letter. This is another strong thing you have to have in mind. Like, who is writing your recommendation letter? What is the person going to write for you? Is this person going to submit a recommendation letter on time in order to beat the deadline, before the department closes their application platform? Those are the things you have to keep in mind. So you want an academia to write your recommendation letter. It could be your mentor. My mentor actually wrote mine. I don't know what he wrote for me, but I know I trusted him. I know he would have made a good point and a good recommendation letter for the school to accept me. So you want to, the person writing your recommendation letter should be someone who knows your academic qualification and who knows your academic strength. Who is just going to define you the way you are, and not the person who's going to go out there and say, oh, he can't do anything. No. It should be someone who understands what you can do academically, right? The person is an academia. It could be, like I said before, it could be your professors in your bachelor's, or your teachers in your high school. It could be a mentor, but try to make sure that the person, that person is a teacher or a professor in a university. That would help a lot, to be able for the professors to be able to make decision whether you're going to make a good student or not. So try to make sure you know the person doing your recommendation letter. You're not going to regret that. And so when you're done with making sure that those people submit your recommendation letter early to beat the deadline, very important, very, very important. I know then my professors that wrote my recommendation letter, I kept worrying them. I didn't give them breathing space. I kept reminding them, please, you need to submit this. You need to submit my recommendation letter. The deadline is almost there, right? So some of them might be busy. I don't blame them, because professors are always then busy, right? So it's your duty to keep reminding them, and back to back, like remind them back to back, like, submit my recommendation letter, please. I need it to be submitted before this deadline. And make sure they know the deadline, because they can forget a lot. They have their own personal life and the teaching life and academics to meet up with. Most of them go for conferences, so they're also making preparation for that, and they might forget that they need to do something for you. So it's your duty, my dear, for you to keep reminding them, do my recommendation letter. And after that, after the recommendation letter, I would say then you now, some schools would waive the application fee for you. And it's good for you to make research to understand if that school is going to waive your application fee or not. If it is a school that's not going to waive application fee for you, then you have to pay. Once you pay your application, submit the application. And I promise you, with all these points, if you go through this so well, make Google your friend, you will definitely get admission, and you will thank me later. Okay guys, so I am going to be seeing you guys in my next video, and because I'm just going to be talking about these things in details, right? I'm going to be talking about them in details, like what you should do, and how you can make that research, and how you can write an SOP, a very good SOP that the professors will see. This is great, right? So I'm going to be talking about those things in detail. So I will look out for you guys in my next video on how to write a good SOP and how to write a good personal statement. And until then, I'll see you guys there. Please do not forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and then share to friends and loved ones you don't know whom you might be helping. And thank you so much.